Hello and happy new year to you all. I hope you're well. I hope you enjoyed the festive period. Maybe you ate too many mince pies and chocolates. I certainly did. Or perhaps you did the Rafa Festive 500 and kept the miles on over the Christmas period and ready and raring to go for 2019. But sadly, back to work. But that is a good chance to look ahead at what the year might hold for us in terms of new bikes and products and equipment from the big bike brands. But before I roll up my tech trends and predictions for the year ahead, a quick recap of 2018. So the past year has been really interesting for new bikes. In particular, the aero race bike. These aero bikes definitely hogged the limelight in 2018 with a brand new Specialized Venge, Cervelo S5 disc with that crazy handlebar and stem. Finally, Cannondale joined the aero party with its new System 6, and the Trek Madone got the disc brake treatment. Away from aero bikes, the gravel and adventure sector are really interesting. Loads of new bikes been launched, loads of new tyres and handlebars and product design for people who want to go off-road, bike packing and plan their own mini adventures, micro 3-day adventures and so on. The other category, it's not one I paid particularly close attention to, but I'll be keeping an eye on, is the e-bike category. So we're seeing e-bikes looking just like road bikes with really small integrated batteries that from a distance look just like a normal road bike. There's a new Bianchi, the Cannondale Synapse, Trek Domani and the Focus as well. So it's a really interesting product if you want a bit of assistance from a motor in a road bike package. Away from bikes, there were some interesting new products as well. Most interesting was the Campagnolo 12-speed group set. You can see my review of that linked up above. So the first road manufacturer launched a 12-speed group set. Shimano dabbled a toe in the gravel and adventure market with its new Ultegra RX line of rear mechs with the clutch mechanism taken from the mountain bike rear mechs. And Continental launched its first road tubeless tyre. So there's some interesting new bikes and some interesting new products. But what does 2019 hold for us? Let's take a closer look. I'm going to kick off my tech trends and predictions with a question. Will 2019 be remembered as the year of the 12-speed group set? Last year, Campag launched a 12-speed record and super record group set. So the big question is, will Shimano and SRAM follow suit with 12-speed group sets this year? Now we have seen some leaked images, some spy shots of what appears to be an ETAP 12-speed group set. Now ETAP launched a few years ago, a wireless group set, really popular. And going 12 speed would have been an easy step, an easy upgrade for 2019. They've got the technology, they've done 12 speed already in their mountain bike Eagle group set. So launching ETAP 12 speed, no brainer. And I reckon that it's going to happen this year. SRAM also has a second pro team with Trek being signed up this year. So they've got Katusha and Trek to show off their new group set. So I think that's likely to happen. Will Shimano follow suit with a 12 speed Dura-Race? I'm not so sure. Dura-Race was launched only a couple of years ago. It was actually delayed by quite a bit when it's actually available on bikes. And Shimano is notoriously a conservative company. They work to their own timelines and they're not prone to responding to trends. So they're not likely to panic when they see SRAM and Campagnolo having success with a 12-speed group set. So I think we're probably a year away before Shimano responds with a 12-speed Dura-Race. But I could be wrong, of course. I've been wrong a lot of times before, so don't hold me to that one. We've also seen images of what appears to be Campagnolo's electronic EPS group set in 12-speed, and we've seen some photos of pros training already on 12-speed. So it looks likely that those teams sponsored by Campag, like Movistar and so on, riding the 2019 season on 12-speed. So will we have a mixed peloton of some on 12 speed and some on 11 speed? And what does this mean for the neutral surface? Well, I don't know. We'll soon find out. The problems got resolved fairly easily with the jump from 10 speed to 11 speed. So I'm sure the jump to 11 speed to 12 speed will be fairly seamless. It's just a bit of a question about the delay from Shimano and SRAM compared to Campagnolo launching theirs last year. So the timings are an interesting one in terms of the pro peloton and consumers adopting 12 speed. What I think will be interesting is whether SRAM just launch a 12 speed ETAP, like a basic update of 11 speed ETAP, or whether they do something like a 1x12 group set. As you know, there's a 1x group set in the pro peloton last year, didn't end very well, but a 1x12 ETAP could be really interesting. I think that would be an eye-opener for many people who perhaps sitting on the fence about 1x. We might not see it in the pro peloton, but for non-racers, certainly for gravel applications, a 1x12 ETAP group set would be really exciting. And the technology exists in terms of merging the ETAP with the Eagle mountain bike group set for the wide range simplicity you need. Sticking with the gravel theme, as we know, Shimano launched its Ultegra RX rear mechs last year. So they basically brought the clutch mechanism technology from the mountain bike rear mechs to the road line for the first time. Basically, it's a clutch mechanism in the rear mech to prevent chain slap, so you can run a one-by configuration with less chance of a chain falling off. I'd like to see Shimano launch a full dedicated gravel group set under the Ultegra RX line with 1x and 2x options optimised around what you need for a gravel and adventure bike. So that'd be really interesting to see if they do commit to doing something like that in 2019. You wouldn't think tyres are so popular, but judging by how well my Continental tubeless tyre installation video did, they are very popular. And Continental launching a road tubeless tyre is a pretty significant move in terms of one of the biggest brands, the most respected brands in the tyre market, launching a road tubeless tyre. Now, when I was at the launch for the Conti tyre, they did talk about the industry, all the tyre brands getting together and discussing a standard. So could 2019 be the year we finally see a unified road tubeless standard? I'd certainly love to see that. Some sort of standard to make installation and cross-compatibility of road tubeless tyres and rims would be beneficial to the uptake of tubeless. It make installation easier, no compatibility issues, inflation issues as well. So that'd be a really exciting and interesting move. So I mentioned aero bikes got all the attention last year. I think 2019 could be the turn of the lightweight all-rounder. So the Trek Emonda, that's probably due for an update. The Canyon Ultimate, that's definitely due for an update, as is their Aeroad. The Giant TCR Advance with their new team, they might be looking to launch a new bike. But could the updates to these bikes be spurred on by the UCI dropping their 6.8 kilogram weight limit? There have been rumours for a couple of years about the UCI dropping their weight limit, which has been around for the last couple of decades, introduced at a time when carbon was a new technology on safety grounds, but now bikes are easily lighter than 6.8 kilograms with off-the-shelf standard equipment. So could 2019 be a year when the UCI drop their weight limit and open the floodgates to manufacturers to launch even lighter bikes that pros can race on and that you can race on at amateur level as well? Now, the likelihood of this prediction coming true pretty slim, so don't hold me to it. I'd love to see it happen, just because I think it might give the industry a bit of extra motivation to see how they can really push bikes to another level in terms of weight. They've been held back by the 6.8 weight limit for a long time, so I think it'd be really exciting to see what they can do if they remove that limit, scrap that weight limit, and see where they can take their bikes without it. The other big trend, particularly relevant at this time of year when it's freezing cold outside, is indoor training. Now, I remember when tow trainers were just the work of the devil, and you spend half an hour on it and you just be counting the clock. Miserable training, but necessary if you're racing, try and do interval training and so on. But nowadays, people are spending hours doing hundreds of kilometers on indoor trainers with realistic simulations like Swift, Trainer Road, and lots of other online platforms designed to provide an immersive experience. And I think that's a key word, immersive. I think we're looking at new products being launched and new applications being launched that make the whole experience riding indoors much more realistic in terms of how it is riding outside. So last year, Wahoo launched their Climb and Headwind fan, designed to provide a more realistic experience. We're seeing rocker plates becoming an underground trend, and we might see manufacturers embrace that. So trainers that can rock from side to side to simulate what it's like riding outside. When you're riding outside, the bike moves around a lot more than it is on an indoor trainer. So I think we might see some interesting developments. And will we see some virtual reality headset technology come in? Possibly, yeah. So that's a really exciting sector. I mean, love or hate indoor training is clearly really popular, and we're seeing more cyclists spend a lot more money on the indoor trainer setups. In the past, you might have spent all your money on a dedicated winter bike with mud guards and so on, but now people are spending that money on an indoor trainer setup and not going out in the rain and the cold and dark, but doing it inside where it's more effective and, I hate to say it, more enjoyable than it ever used to be. So indoor training, definitely a trend to watch for in 2019, and I think a focus on making it more realistic is a key thing to watch out for. Now, you might hate me for mentioning this, depends on your view on e-bikes, but e-bikes are going to get bigger and better in 2019. They're already looking like road bikes, but I think we're going to see them looking even more like road bikes, and that range getting extended all the time with better battery technology and better integration of the battery technology in the motor into the bikes. And we're seeing some lightweight applications that don't give you that weird cutout feeling at 25 kilometers an hour. So when the battery does run out, or you get above that speed limit, it feels more realistic and more like a normal road bike, and less like a heavy bike with a big battery and motor on it. So e-bikes looking like road bikes and becoming a viable alternative if you just want a bit of assistance some of the time. There's nothing to be ashamed of if you want some assistance or need some assistance. So I think e-bikes are maturing rapidly, and it's clear that they're becoming really popular as well. So definitely a sector, a category of bikes to keep an eye on in 2019. For my last couple of tech trends, I think it's clear disc brakes are really popular. We're seeing rim brake bikes being launched in fewer numbers, and with the latest aero bikes being designed around disc brakes and not offering any choice if you want rim brakes, I think we're finally seeing a point where it's getting harder to buy a rim brake bike and disc brakes becoming the norm. Now this is going to upset a lot of people, I know, and it'd be interesting to see how the pro peloton adopt disc brakes. There hasn't really been a very smooth rollout or adoption of disc brakes in the pro peloton. The UCI started a trial many years ago, and we've had quite a few high profile cases of disc brakes involving crashes and so on. But it looks like we might finally get to a point where the pro team do start to adopt disc brakes, with Katusha committing to disc brakes for the 2019 season, at least in their press release. Whether they actually do race the whole season on disc brakes remains to be seen. So 2019 could also mark the year of the transition from the rim brake to the disc brake, and it'd be really interesting to watch the pro teams that have committed to disc brakes and how smoothly their races go with disc brakes, and whether it's good or bad. So we'll be watching them very keenly. The other trend that I want to finish with is the demise of the press fit bottom bracket. Not completely being eradicated, but we're seeing quite a few new bikes being launched with a traditional threaded external bottom bracket. So external threaded bottom brackets are getting lighter and got better, and quite a lot of backlash from consumers against press fit bottom brackets, with many reporting endless creaks and squeaky bottom brackets and so on. So we're seeing a bit of a U-turn really, going away from oversized press fit bottom brackets towards easier to service and usually less prone to creaking external threaded bottom brackets. So I'll be watching for any new bikes launched in 2019 and whether they have a threaded external bottom bracket. Okay, time to wrap up this video. Those are my tech trends and predictions for 2019. I could be totally wrong on every front, but it'd be interesting to see what happens over the year, and at the end of the year look back at this video and see how right or wrong I was. But I'd love to hear from you guys. If you've got any thoughts or observations on tech trends and new products you're looking forward to seeing in 2019, do let me know in the comment section below. Love to hear from you as always. But that's all for now. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all again next time.